face tattoos. If you're rich and famous, chances are you'll be alright. But for the average simpleton like me and you, they're not the best idea. And so today we're gonna look at 7 people who regretted their face tattoos instantly. So grab your coffees, smash that subscribe button for a lot more content like this, and let's start. Number 7. Robert Michael. This Missouri man actually tried to rob a pastor. Yeah. Robert had come to his church and asked him for a ride. The pastor, being the holy man that he is, agreed and drove him for 20 miles. But the conversation started getting shady when Robert told him about his criminal past records and how he spent 10 years in prison. He then flipped on the pastor, attempted to take the truck keys away from him, and then demanded some money. Fearing for his life, the pastor then abandoned his truck and called the authorities. He gave a detailed description of Robert and all of his face tattoos, and needless to say, because of the very distinct ink that ran over his eye and the one on his neck, he was easily identified and arrested. Number 6. The unnamed Welshman. One morning after a heavy night of partying, this man woke up with markings of glasses and the words Ray-Ban drawn on his face. He tried to wash it off but quickly realized he couldn't because it wasn't marker. This was an actual tattoo. Apparently, the night before, his friends dared him to tattoo his face. And him being as drunk as he was, he thought it would be a fantastic idea. So he did it, and the next day, he had zero recollection of what happened. Now, any normal person would immediately try to get rid of those tattoos, especially since he even admitted that he got a lot of stares because of it. But not our boy. Initially, this guy decided not to get rid of the ink because he was simply used to it. However, as time went on and people at the pub continuously made fun of him, he realized that he didn't want to be an embarrassment to his family and friends, so he made the decision of lasering the tattoo off. Number 5. Drake Face Girl. It's only natural that many people would want an autograph or picture with their idol, or even a poster on their wall. However, a woman from California took the words fangirl and YOLO to the next level. You see, this girl had such a huge obsession for Drake that she tattooed his name right across her forehead in huge capital letters. She ended up going so viral that the news got out to Drake himself. And while the rest of the world was making fun of her, Drake was very polite about it, but at the same time, extremely furious at the artist.
What are your thoughts on it?
I want to meet her and understand what happened. That's cool though. Like I feel you 100%. That to me is like absolutely incredible. I don't know if you can see it, but this girl tattooed Drake on her forehead. The guy who tatted it is a f***ing asshole, though. I will tell you that. I don't fuck with that guy. Fuck you to that tat artist, by the way, because you're an asshole for real. And you should lose your job, and you should never do tattoos again. I don't fuck with you, and if I ever see you, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Now, the artist said when it comes to life-ruining tattoos, he usually asks them 3 times if they think it's a good idea, then explains to them the consequences, and if they still want it, then he ends up giving them that tattoo. Number 4. Tanya Davis. A couple of years ago, Tanya was asked to be a tattoo model for one of her friend's tattooing course. And in exchange, she would receive free ink on her forehead. Tanya knew her friend did beautiful work, and at the time she was going through a rebel phase. So when you add in free tattoo plus a face tattoo, it's a no-brainer for her. It wasn't until the letters C-U-R-S had been inked where Tanya questioned the artist about what it was. It was the word cursed, and right away she began dreading it. But there was no going back at that point. Tanya says walking around with the word cursed tattooed on her forehead is like a living nightmare and the biggest regret of her life. To make matters worse, she can't even get a job. She has tried hiding her tattoos under some makeup, but the ink is too dark and still shows through. Also, Tanya's afraid that doing laser removal is gonna make her face worse. So at this point, she's kinda stuck. Number 3. Anthony Ward. Anthony was wanted by cops for a number of break and enters, so authorities decided to ask the internet for help. A picture of his face was posted with his insanely unique tattoos. He had a few texts inked on his neck and the right side of his forehead, with the biggest giveaway of all being the Hannibal Lecter inspired muzzle that covered the lower portion of his face. As his mugshot went viral, the tips started flooding in. There was no way he could have went anywhere without being noticed. And within a matter of 8 hours, Anthony was arrested, all due to his face tattoos giving him away. Number 2. Puck Karika. Now, just one glance at this guy and you might mistake him for Mark Kropp, who was featured in my other video. But they're actually 2 completely different people who made the same mistake. Puck joined the New Zealand gang early on in his life and thought it would be a great idea to tattoo Notorious in red and black ink covering half of his face, kind of like a bandit's mask. However, in his 30s, he regretted that tattoo big time because as he was trying to change his life and go on the right path, no one would hire him. So one day his girlfriend put out a post on the internet in hopes of finding Puck a job, and this caught the attention of the ultimate troll, 50 Cent. 50 posted Puck's picture on Instagram and captioned it, "I wonder why he can't get a job." Naturally, Puck had people ridiculing him by the tens of thousands. However, one gym owner decided to give him a chance and hire him as a personal trainer. Number 1. Jason Burnham. Jason was an Alaskan man who was involved with crime his entire life. He'd been convicted 14 times and had 4 felony charges against him. Naturally, he wanted to look badass and scary, so he decided to tattoo his face and then took it a step further and tattooed one of his eyeballs. But that was a mistake that changed the course of his entire life, because after finally being released in 2010, Jason wanted to go straight and get a normal job. Now I'm sure you guys could guess what happened. No one hired this guy. He claimed his beautiful face was the reason he couldn't get a job, and so he ended up becoming homeless and resorted to going back to a life of crime. A couple of years later, Jason ended up getting arrested again and pleaded guilty to multiple charges. Now the question is, would you ever get a face tattoo? Let me know in the comment sections below. This is just part 2 of the series, so make sure to check out part 1 if you haven't, and subscribe for a lot more videos like this. Smash that like button, and I'll see you guys next Saturday.